Good morning, everybody. This is Lori Wilson with you on Community Voice. It is a beautiful Tuesday. Let's hope it stays sunny, and it's certainly sunny in the broadcast bungalow because we have the one, the only, a man who brings his own sound effects, Dr. Kyle Marrero, president of the University of West Georgia. Good morning.
Good morning, Lori. How are you doing?
I am full of salt and vinegar.
Oh, excellent.
I was going to say the other thing, but...
No, that's good. That's good.
I am. I'm feeling pretty good. Having a good semester already. As I was telling you before class. See, I'm already... See?
That's good.
This is really good.
It's a good mindset.
Yeah, good mindset. I was telling you before the show, I've got a lot of students in my classrooms with bright lights behind their eyeballs. And it's going to be a good semester.
It is. It is record enrollment again, 13,755 as of this morning. That'll ebb and flow. We'll probably land somewhere around 13,650 to 13,700 by census date, which is about October, once everything's cleared. But that'll be record enrollment, 18% growth in 4 years.
Is that... I mean, you're looking happy about that. That sounds like scary growth.
Well, it's purposeful. Really, for us, we try our sweet spot, as we say, what we can handle, what we can budget for, what we can provide faculty, services, et cetera, to the students, is right around 300 to 400 a year. And that's really been our sweet spot. A couple years ago, we grew from 12,200 to 12,800. That was 600, and that was a scramble. Those extra 200 or so outside of that range of purposeful growth makes it difficult. But the trajectory we're on, if we add 400 or so a year, that's good.
That doesn't sound like that many.
No. Well, the interesting part of our growth this year is it wasn't necessarily in first-time, full-time freshmen. In fact, that was flat coming in because through the entire state, it's a phenomenon through the southeastern United States. This number of 18-year-olds graduating is actually now stabilized. It's going to decline over 2 years as a demographic coming up, student population that age, and then by 2020, 21, it'll start coming back up again. Just as we track that. We're just like any business. We know where our market capture is and where that is. And so purposely, we then went further to move on ready students, the high school dual enrollment. That's clear up to 700 now. 4 years ago, that was 33. Just to give you an idea. So that's become a huge program for us. And transfers up and graduates up 200 students. So we have 200 more graduate students. So we're excited about that mix as we move forward. Plus, we're 100% occupancy in our housing. So it's probably a good thing as we go through this right now until we can build some more housing.
Did you have an idea, a whisper of an idea that, let's say 10 years ago, that you'd become a demographics expert, a West Georgia demographics expert?
Well, it's important because you have to know your community. You have to know the students that are looking to graduate, the parents, everything that you're talking about. How are you serving the community? Because higher education really is our ability to transform lives through education, elevate socioeconomic classes, and prepare workforce. And holistic people. That's what I love about what we do at University of West Georgia. They'll be prepared for the workforce with the content-rich knowledge of what we provide them, but more importantly, I think we really develop the whole person through a liberal arts sort of curriculum ideal where it's more than that. It's critical thinking, problem solving. How do you use this knowledge? And I think that's what we do so extraordinarily well at University of West Georgia.
Just yesterday, I was making an argument with my freshman comp. I love first semester freshman comp students. Yeah,
that's a front lines.
Oh, it is the front lines, but it's where you see them. You see everybody. Everyone has to go through these classes,
exactly. And
making an argument about how, to put it, just way too lightly, how apostrophe placement and subject verb agreement cultivates transferable skills to any job market or any workplace.
Absolutely.
That's what makes them go, okay, so this isn't just a waste.
Communication is critical.
Absolutely.
Written communication is critical.
And oral communication as well. By the way, speaking of which, we are live on Facebook.
We are live. Is that... Hello.
Hi. Okay,
hey,
break the fourth wall.
See my UWG coffee mug? There we go.
Mine's
awesome.
not fine. Okay, I had a great question, and then, so we talked about enrollment numbers.
But I got to talk, I'm going to jump in. Because, look, growth is important, but if we aren't being successful with the students that we have, then we've lost our way. And what I can really tell you that's so exciting is we have a record 4-year graduation rate in the history of the institution, record 5-year graduation rate in the history of the institution, and our incoming freshman class this year, the average GPA coming out of high school is the highest it's ever been in the history of the university.
Okay, so this is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm seeing in my freshman classes.
So
good
students,
job.
So the students coming are, at least from a GPA standpoint, and our test scores are up too, look like they're more prepared, which is great because we're becoming more of a first choice institution, not the fallback. I'll see if I can go X, Y, or Z, and then I'll go to UWG. But now we're getting more of those first choice kids that they say, I want to go there, and the higher performers. So we believe in transformation of education for all. And so as we go through that, we're now seeing success rates without lowering standards of students at the highest level we ever have. So this is the good old days right now.
Wow.
The students that we have are graduating at a higher record. They're coming in more prepared, so it's an exciting time for us.
Do you track their job
Oh, sure. Yeah, we
acquisition
also, and there's two
placement?
different studies that came out last year, payscale.com and smartassets.com. Say that carefully. And when you type it in, particularly, be careful. And you look at the studies there, and they show, and they actually benchmarked our graduates. And their earning capacity first 5 years out of graduation is about $42,000 a year. 10 to 20 years out of graduation is about $73,000 a year. And that put us 7th in the entire state of Georgia, all public and private institutions. That's, I mean, when you think about who's there, University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, Emory, Mercer, some of the other private schools, along with the major flagships, we're in pretty darn good company to have ranked 7 out of approximately 30 plus institutions in the state.
Wow.
What our graduates, how they're doing. So
Well,
that's
that's
excellent.
really
Isn't that great?
exciting. It is great.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Look, we've been hearing for the last year, but certainly over the last summer, about what I would call sort of atrocities in free speech violation, or at least attempts thereof, in not our university, not the one here, but across the nation.
Right.
Maybe you can tell our listeners about the Board of Regents' recent statement or affirmation about free speech on our campus.
Well, and that's goodness, we're at a time across the nation, on campuses, everywhere, where the activism and the ability to express your opinion, your voice, is either freewheeling, and then also putting actually dangerous situations in terms of property or lives at stake. And so our job as a university is to ensure that every voice can be heard, that they have that opportunity to express that. Every voice. And so it is not a dampening of voices. In fact, it's a celebration of what we call inclusion and tolerance, which is, that means everything from the Judeo-Christian voice to then the other extreme, whatever that may be, in the entire spectrum. To have that ability to talk, to debate, to be in a forum of which all views are appreciated and valued. It's a hard balance to find, but that's the statement in essence with the Board of Regents, what we're trying to do on our campuses.
I'm really happy as a faculty member to hear you say that, because this idea of safe spaces that protect a student from being offended, which we hear about, again, not on our campus, but out there, seems anathema, because we have, as you said, a liberal arts education means that we're exposing our students and ourselves. I mean, we faculty aren't doing our job if we're not learning and contending with opposing viewpoints as well. Yeah. And so it has to be okay to just go.
The world's a tough place.
I mean, world is hard.
And we have to understand there's viewpoints that can make you emotionally feel upset. But we have to learn how to handle that, and then how to better express our viewpoints in opposition. And so that's the environment we're striving to create, and obviously at all times avoid any type of confrontation that could put people or property in danger.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear you say that. Okay, so I think it's time for our first break. I'm just going to make an executive decision while I can. Although Mr. Producer is on the phone at the moment, so maybe we should a little inside radio, everybody. I'll ask Kyle one more question.
Excellent.
Okay, one more question. While you were talking about enrollment growth, talk about the Noonan campus. It's beautiful, and I aspire to teach a class there one day.
Well, it's been exciting for us. We're actually now, in essence, starting our third full year with the Noonan campus open. Just with classes last Wednesday, we're up to 1,000 unduplicated head count. In other words, exclusive students to that campus, which has been great growth for us. When we were at the Shenandoah campus, the older campus in Noonan, we had about 400 students.
Oh, wow.
So this has been great growth. We're looking at expanding programs that align particularly with market there and their economic development needs. In fact, I talked to the Noonan Chamber tomorrow about that, about our academic master plan in tandem with their input that's going to help their local economy. It's a beautiful building if you haven't seen it. It's old Noonan Hospital. And whenever I speak in Noonan, I always ask, okay, how many had anything done at the Noonan Hospital, whether it was the birth of your child or your birth or
Tonsils or
tonsils or appendix or whatever, and half the room raises their hand. I mean, it is a landmark building and facility for them, and the beauty of the architectural work was to keep that facade so when you drive on Jackson Street, it still looks like the hospital.
It's beautiful, and it's got that horse, the horse sculpture in front. So what classes?
And we have a wolf now.
So, is that right?
Yes, the wolf and the horse.
I'm going there in this week. I will check out the wolf.
Okay.
Okay, so what classes are offered there?
Well, we do the entirety of the core curriculum, and then we do early childhood development, the full baccalaureate degree. We do the whole nursing program there, delivered. Beautiful simulation labs there. We do MBA cohort there. And now we're looking to add our BS in Health and Wellness, our BS in Behavioral and Social Wellness that'll be coming, or Social Health that'll be coming here this next year. We're looking at sports management, both bachelor's and master's. So
that's
we're looking
a big field.
Yeah, we're looking at it, and then a new bachelor's of science in interdisciplinary studies, where we can add a specialization to the top of that, continually to match the need, technical writers, cybersecurity, whatever it may be, within the basic core of a liberal arts baccalaureate degree, but then with specializations of 4 or 5 courses to give them the exact training needs for the job placement that they'd be looking for. So I think we're going to see a lot of really targeted degree programs for growth there that'll help their Coweta County and that region specifically with workforce. Exciting.
It sounds really exciting. Okay, it is definitely time for our first break. So we're going to hear from our sponsor, Tanner Health System, and we'll be back in 60 seconds with Kyle Marrero, Dr. Kyle Marrero, President of the United States.
Oh, no.
I just gave you the President of the University of West Georgia. Stick around while I get my words back.
In sports, when you play to win, you get your game on. Shouldn't the same be true when it comes to your health? At Tanner Health System, we're going to help you get your healthy on. Tanner is leading the way for you to eat better, get fit, manage or prevent diabetes, and live tobacco-free, so you and your family can get your healthy on every day. It all starts at gethealthylivewell.org. Check out upcoming healthy living events and join others in the community taking action to live well every day. GetHealthyLiveWell.org. Tanner Health System's way of helping you get your healthy on.
Need motivation and support to eat healthier, become more physically active, or quit tobacco? Tanner offers free classes to help you get your healthy on. Register today by calling 770-214-CARE. That's 770-214-CARE. Learn more at GetHealthyLiveWell.org.
And we're going to jump right back into our conversation with Dr. Kyle Marrero. Good morning, everybody. Lori Wilson still with you on Community Voice. We were talking over the break about an update, Dr. Marrero, about protection around campus.
Well, first, let me tell you about our students, just because I think that's important.
Okay.
To just know, we are a regional university, comprehensive regional university, 4 doctoral programs, 30 master's programs, 86 programs of study. But when you think about where our students are coming from, and I want you to think beyond just our region. Yes, there's about 16 counties where probably 10,500 of our students come from out of our nearly 14,000 now. But every county in Georgia is represented in our student body, 44 states in the United States of America, and 75 countries. And if you want to get an idea of what type of students are coming and having their lives transformed through education, our undergraduates, 40% of them are first in their family to attend and graduate college. 40% of our undergraduates.
I asked that question the first day of every class. Who of you is the first person in your family to go to college? And I would say this year about a third. of the students raise their hand. And they have
That's
some
awesome.
special concerns. I mean, everyone's proud of them, but there's a lot riding on their shoulders, like.
That is. But at graduation, I ask the same question, and they all and they raise their hand, and we honor them. We have them stand up, and it is just
That's
amazing.
fantastic.
Amazing.
Yes, and so then we're going to go from there to talking about protection around campus. That's always a concern.
Yeah. Well, and we started, look, last fall, I'm sure many of your listeners know that we had in one of our apartment complexes last October, a young man was shot and murdered. It was a burglary that gone bad, drugs associated with that. And I want to make sure everyone hears this. Statistically, our institution is one of the safest in the university system of Georgia per number of students, acreage, etc. Where we really need to work together, and we put together a program called Protect Our PAC, which is now monthly. I meet with the city, Joel Richards with the chief of police, with Terry Langley, the county sheriff, and our police department, and we work together, and we brought in the apartment owners, because really it's the 13 apartments that are around our campus that we're big enough and interesting enough now to where our students, in essence, become prey for those that want to sell illegal drugs or set up shop. And together what we're doing aggressively is ensuring that our students, our faculty and staff, and our community know that we're working hard to ensure that we're keeping our community as safe as possible along that way. And we follow these statistics. We're tracking every month with the apartments, and we're seeing a decline. Students have all come in now, and so we can see some of those same dealers setting up. And so we're working hard together. We put one of our UPD with the city as an investigator. They place somebody with us. We're working in tandem together. So in perspective, if you look at the last 10 years of criminal data, county, city, there really hasn't been an exponential increase, even with our growth. But that's not enough. Our community deserves that as our growth continues, that they feel safe, they know we're safe, and that our students and the parents of those students that look in my eyes as I'm pulling a box out of their car and helping them move into their residence hall, as we are going to do together everything we can to ensure that their progress towards their degree is not impeded anyway because of safety.
So what does this protection look like? Do you have plainclothes officers?
We have everything. We have patrol. We have investigators, plain clothes. We have all. Yeah. This is the ACE team. This is the
so we can make a TV show out of this, I bet.
It is a full on agenda to ensure that our campus remains one of the safest, and that the surrounding area around our campus is as safe as possible.
And a connected topic, which has been very much on faculty's mind, is the campus carry. Can you give us your take on that?
Well, July 1, it became law. And so our job is to implement that law and to cipher it. And you talked about commas and language.
Yeah, boy.
And that was some of the difficulty, was to interpret it correctly and get guidance from the system to ensure that we were along that way. And we've had town halls, lots of communication to ensure our faculty, our staff, our students understand what this is, what it isn't, and how we will implement it. And so I think we've had a great plan moving forward.
Can you just give our listeners who might not know all the ins and outs, because at my beginning of semester meetings, at our meetings, there was a lot of, okay, you can do this, but you can't do this, and you can carry here. And can you give our listeners just an idea of how convoluted it kind of has ended up?
Well, when you use the word convoluted, I'd say it's complex.
Okay.
but it's not impossible. And
Right.
what it really it allows within open areas on our campus, and if I go down the list, this would be a whole nother segment for us. But
Okay.
but I'll use classrooms, for instance. The complexity with classrooms where instruction happens. You can be a legal permitted weapon carrier in that classroom unless that class has a move-on-ready high school student in it. Now, we've developed an online system where any student can go in, click onto that class, and click the button, move on to ready or not, and it says yes or no.
Move on when ready means that it's a high school
student.
Okay.
And so, but it is the onus is on the permitted weapon carrier to know if that classroom is an allowed place for them to have it. It's not the faculty member nor the other students in the class job or responsibility or purview to police this. It is the weapon owner.
But because of privacy laws, what is it? Is that HIPAA?
That's FERPA.
FERPA, I know it was one of those. One isn't allowed to go in and say, okay, who here is, move on.
Exactly.
Okay, so
well, it's the Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
And so we're carefully transcending that, ensuring
Okay.
and then the other part of it is, for instance, football season's coming up. Tailgating area, yes, allowed. You walk into the stadium, no. So to those areas, I think for the campuses, without any comment on the law itself, it's just the implementation of it. That strategy. Then what are we going to do? Are we going to wand everyone? Are we going to, do some type of process as they enter the actual gates of the stadium or not? And so that's the complexity.
Okay. And it has, I know, many faculty it's just a new wrinkle to wrap our brains around.
Well, and I'll say, look, data again, and what we've really tried to look is the other states that have had this for years. And as we see, there's been no escalation or issues on those campuses, and so we're looking at best practices, how they went about applying this law and what we do. So it is a change. And that was always uncomfortable for everybody. But we will persevere and keep moving, and our job is to educate. And so that's what we're focusing on.
Well, so far, it's like it doesn't feel any different.
That's the goal.
Right.
And so, clearly, as I said, our job is to implement and obey law. And that's what we're doing.
Okay, that's good. We have 9 minutes left, so I think we'll take our final break. And in 60 seconds, we'll be right back on Community Voice. So stick around. I'm serious.
Take a walk toward healthy. Tanner Health System wants you to know that taking a brisk 30-minute walk 5 times a week is all it takes for most people to keep fit. Not only that, going for 30 can lower your blood pressure, cholesterol, and reduce your risk for heart disease and strokes. You experience these benefits even if you divide your time into 2 or 3 segments of 10 to 15 minutes a day. Even if you've been sedentary for years, you can start now. Going for 35 times a week has real health benefits. Don't think you can make it for 30 minutes? That's okay. You can work your way up as you get stronger.
Let your mouse do the walking online at www.gethealthylivewell.org. Tanner's go-to online destination for health tips, fitness tracking, healthy recipes, and more. Get inspired to get your healthy on at gethealthylivewell.org.
Oh, there I am. To Community Voice. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Our last segment with Dr. Kyle Marrero, president of our very own University of West Georgia. Used to be West Georgia College.
Yes. And it was State University of West Georgia. That was a little...
the acronym for that
was not great.
Yeah, I remember just seeing a sign on I-20 saying, SUWG in that direction.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I realized, oh, unfortunate.
Yeah. So we were able to change. That was good. The great leaders before me were wise.
Our wise leaders. Okay. Now the important stuff. We've talked about academics and we've talked about safety, but I want to talk about the new football coach.
Oh, David Dean. Goodness.
Yeah?
Well, we were really blessed to have Will Hall with us, obviously, for 3 years, 2 national semifinal runs in NCAA. Division II football, so that was great. And last year was, one of those years where we were number 1 in the nation for 3 weeks, and then we got in a losing streak, and that's the way the ball bounces, as they say. But Will, we always knew was destined to move on to Division I. That was one of his aspirations, and he had that opportunity. So we were just so incredibly fortunate in a search process that we did in 2 weeks because we needed to get a new coach in before.
Seriously?
Oh, sure, because we had the signing date of February. I forget the exact date that we needed the coach in to ensure that we could keep the recruits that we had currently been recruiting. And so to have David Dean even available and interested was incredible, because this is a man who's won 3 national championships in Division II. He's been twice National Coach of the Year in Division II. Family man. He actually was here from 1992 to 1999 as assistant coach of offense here, and then went on to Valdosta. You know, it's kind of fun that we got the coach of our big rival here, and at Valdosta was the 3 national championships. So he knows Division II football. He believes in the character of the young man, of the football player, and their development as a football player, along with that, and their success in the classroom. And that's incredibly important to us, to find that balance and that mix while we put a winning team on the field. More importantly, they are part of our community and they're students. And so they need to be successful in the classroom and be representatives of us, the university, and the community. And so those priorities are just resounding with this team and with his leadership.
You have this image, or maybe it's just a stereotype of a college football player or a college athlete who may not be that great in the classroom, but their skills are so great on the field.
Right.
But talk about that. You said,
well, for us, you know, we have higher actually academic and admission standards than some of the other division institutions that they could play for, and so that's been a struggle for the recruitment of football players. In some cases, you know, we have some incredible honors graduates in our football team. It's the whole gamut. It's so to say that there's some type of generalization that football players don't perform well in the classroom would not be correct. But the schedule of their practices, the commitment of the time, and finding that life in balance is probably the greater issue, and the commitment to study halls, the commitment to keeping them on track. And I can tell you David Dean and the way he leads is ensuring that is mandatory part of their experience.
That's so great. That's so great. Yeah, it's really exciting. I still can't get over how excited I am.
August 31st, first game, Thursday night. 7 home games this year. Got to be there.
Okay.
7, yeah. It's going to be great.
How many are there usually?
Usually 6 is our normal, but last year we had 5, so this year we were able to get an extra one in there in our 12-game schedule, so we're excited.
All right, that sounds good too. Now, the new fire station. Tell those of us who don't know much of anything about it, tell us what that means.
Well, look, we were just thrilled when the city approached us. As remember, we had that sort of anomalic tornado just sort of show up out of nowhere in that spring day a few months back, and then caused severe damage to the fire station there on Lovern Road. And so they were looking to rebuild there. It's a little over a half acre lot that is on, and it has some grading issues. So it wasn't ideal, but that's the land of which the fire station was. And we've had that corner lot, the foundation, UWG Foundation has owned it on Lovern and Brumbelow, and it's been part of our assets in the foundation. And we toyed at different ideas, of bulkhead for the green belt, some other things. What could we do there besides grand signage entering? That lot had some history in the different things it had been for the decades, and was refreshed on what that history was. I was thinking a nice big
bouncy house or something.
That's a bouncy, yes. And so Tim Grizzard approached me and said, that lot's perfect. It's right on a corner of a major intersection. It's bigger. It's almost a full acre. It's flat. It's ready to go. And so we worked together. And it appraised for $190,000. We wanted to work with the city, so we said, okay, how about basically half that, $100,000? Would you do that? And that would help with scholarships for students, which is our goal, to monetize assets in the foundation to then help students. So it's a win-win all around. They have a bigger lot on a better location, and what we love is that it will symbolize safety, security for every student and parent that comes onto our campus. And right there, particularly contiguous with a lot of our apartment complexes, you see a fire station.
Yeah, that is so great.
Great partnership.
Well, we have about a minute left. All I can say is I just wish you had energy. I wish you were energetic and enthusiastic, Kyle Marrero.
I'm blessed.
We're happy to have you here. Okay, I want to make sure I know how many minutes we have. We have, suspend. Okay, in 1 minute, tell us how you're doing. How's your family?
Great.
Yeah.
Love it. We are Lily's in 2nd grade,
Oh.
and she's at Carrollton Elementary, and we love it. Oh my goodness, Mark Albertus, the superintendent, and Amanda, the principal. Everybody's just been incredible, and her teacher, and so I have to say this community is so dear and special. Where as my wife says, don't tell everybody everything, but
Tell us just everything. Well, lucky for her, it's time for us to go.
But anyway, we are blessed and we're thrilled, and I couldn't be more excited heading in my 5th year. Can you believe it? 4 years heading into 5th now. So
That's crazy. Thank you so much. This is the music that signs us off. So sing us out, Kyle Marrero.
What a beautiful morning.